Hello. We're setting up to do some YouTube interviews. You're welcome to participate.
That's a pretty intense camera array.
Yeah, it's part of the idea.
If that doesn't intimidate the hell out of you, nothing will.
Well, part of the idea is to attract a little bit of attention so people wonder what we're doing and then come over and ask. And
just tell them, please don't look in the camera.
But which one?
Sense of humor.
Which one, though?
That's why you say
any of them. Don't look in any of them.
You're looking like this.
Ignore the cameras.
But you told me not to look at the camera.
You're not camera shy, are you?
Yeah, I am a little bit. So YouTube, so you're just making videos for...
He has a YouTube
content?
channel.
I've never seen a YouTube channel.
You haven't?
No.
YouTube has channels where, creators
the
can...
3D camera there?
Yes, it is. This
That's
is
cool.
360. That one's 360. He's got a 360 one as well over there on the bag.
Kind of hard not to look into the camera.
Well, yeah, but you cannot look at the camera's always looking at you whether you're looking at it or not, because it's a 360 camera.
You're going to be the most
looking at everything.
Generation that ever walked the face of the planet. But when we're gone, is anybody going to care?
That's the hard part too, is like, yeah, we have all this information, but do we have a good way to tell if it's true?
Well, it's like when the original internet came out, you could ask all these kind of crazy questions, and then you got sidetracked and it didn't really give you the answer until you phrased the question.
Right.
And then that got better, but now it's just there's so much information out there.
The prompts and stuff you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put comma in the right place when you're asking for information.
Yeah, commas matter.
It's kind of interesting. Kind of fun to see. So you're just adding more content to the world.
Well, this is really not necessarily always practiced with being recorded. We're We're just making it so that people can see what a conversation looks like. Productive.
So they can do it on their own, but not being recorded with their friends and stuff, you know?
And not being on their phone talking to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Partly, yeah, partly.
Get a connection.
You guys are of that generation.
Yeah, I'm Gen X, aren't you?
I think technically, yeah.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
I'm a little earlier. I don't know what that makes me.
More wise, hopefully.
Yeah,
You edit
probably.
This is the question I would ask when you have this many cameras rolling and that much.
Oh, that's where the fun comes in, right, David?
What's that? Oh.
How do you edit?
If you love editing,
Yeah.
First of all,
you're in good company.
How do you coordinate all of it so that you get it timed right?
Software.
So all these cameras are hooked up to one major.
No, you just you do it in your watch the sign there.
Oh,
What
sorry.
the hell is happening?
You do it in your software.
Post-production, okay.
So you gather all the data. They each have basically their own memory cards. You transfer that data into your computer. It usually does a pretty good job. That you can start with that and then go in and.
So it's not like you do a clipboard like the old days when they had it timed.
My software makes it to where I don't need to, but sometimes it's a good idea anyway.
For that reference.
You never know, yeah, exactly. And sometimes they're recording at different speeds, and you have to adjust. Like you have to stretch the tape.
Oh,
You
man.
know where to stretch it to.
So this is a technical aspect of it.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this?
So I was having not productive conversations online, and I was arguing with somebody specifically about a religious topic. And to make the story short, I was looking for another video and ran across a video of somebody else that does this. And this was like back in 2016 or 2017.
So you like to get people to think.
We'd like to help someone critically reflect on the quality of their reasoning through civil conversation. So if you were to participate, we would have you pick a statement that you think is true, that has meaning to you, and we come from a neutral perspective and explore the reasoning that supports the confidence that you have in your statement being true. And hopefully with the conversation, we'll have a better idea if your reasoning matches the confidence that you have. And if it doesn't, why not? And if that's even a problem for you.
I kind of like that. I mean, it's kind of starting with a premise and working way back, but yeah.
Yeah, it's exploring the reasoning that supports the confidence.
But Dad said always to back up your conversation. It's all right if you have an opinion, but back it up with why.
Yeah, and some people don't know why they believe stuff.
You know, sometimes it's just upbringing. You know, I think you can base a lot of stuff on the way we were brought up. I mean,
and is that a good reason to be wherever they're at on their confidence level in believing it?
well, in this day and age, when we have half the country hating the other half, it's really nice to have dialogue.
That's kind of part of the
we're
idea.
that's
'cause
why we're
people don't
recording
talk
it.
to people that
You know,
they
and I feel
disagree
that way
with.
very strongly. I've told my friends I'll agree to disagree, but let's talk about why you feel the way you do.
Yeah.
You know, God, especially after what's going on right now and the thing that happened last night, which was just it was disturbing on so many levels.
Yeah, I read somewhere that they both should have been taking performance-enhancing drugs.
They should, Trump said something that was really interesting. He said if Biden wasn't running, he wouldn't run. I'm like, if Biden heard that, he should have said, you know what? Let's
right.
substitute us for somebody younger that we both believe in.
Call him on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said that in a minute. I would have said, okay, I'm ready to retire.
So if we
too.
could get you
So
both
you and
to
I could go to the
withdraw.
golf course practice putting together and see how far we could drive.
Yep.
And let the next generation try and run the fucking stupid country.
Have like an ombudsman or a negotiator say, if we could get you both to agree to mutually withdraw, would you do it?
Well, no, that would have been the ultimate question that they should have said. You know, I would have called Trump and I said, okay, so Mr. Trump, are you saying that if Mr. Biden or President Biden didn't run another term, you wouldn't run another term? And you know, he never really answered half the questions anyway.
He didn't answer any of the questions.
No, he just went off on his own tangents. So that's why it was disturbing on so many levels. I mean, Biden shouldn't be running again either.
What was disturbing to me was the fact that there was zero fact-checking when they invited a known pathological liar to come speak.
Well, there was fact-checking. I mean, a lot of the, the New York Times did it.
No, I mean on the screen during the thing.
Well, they can't do it real time because they got to do research. So it takes.
I don't think they have to do research to confirm that there haven't been post-birth abortions.
Well, that's pretty true.
You can flash on the screen. Alert!
Not true.
This is not true because that would be murdering a baby, which isn't a thing that's done.
You know, the thing is, it's really disturbing. Is that it's really hard to see either one of them be our president. You know, I certainly Trump is, as you say, a pathological liar, and I think we have a West Coast sort of symptom here. Is that we sort of all believe the same Kool-Aid. But it'll be interesting to see.
It's certainly the stereotype.
Well, I mean, I definitely know some Trump supporters, you know, and they're very happy about telling us that we're reading the wrong news.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a few conversations about that. Like, how do you determine which news to watch?
There again, verification is the challenge for our generation. I mean, now with AI-generated characters, and you can take somebody who's
Deepfakes.
Yeah, deepfakes, who's got a reliable track record of being honest, and put them up there saying what they want them to, and you know it's kind of hard to track. But even going by what we know, we should be, you know, this is pretty significant.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
How about, what do you know and what do you believe?
Well,
we have other whiteboards.
I'm more interested in how they know it's true, not what they know.
Yeah, no, I think that's the ultimate question that you and I are having a discussion about.
Yeah, and to the point where I'll sometimes experiment doing this without knowing what the claim is.
Oh, okay.
It's called hidden claims because it's more about the
Ask me something.
methods than about the actual beliefs.
Yeah, I would have you write down the claim so that it doesn't change throughout the conversation.
So I have a direction.
You would have a statement
Yeah.
that you want to explore the reasoning that supports your confidence in it being true, without telling me what the what is. And that way I don't get distracted by the what part, and I get to focus on the how you know this is true part.
I'm trying to think what I believe in strong enough to actually get into that.
Well, he's got a can of words to spark.
A can of
spark
words.
ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have ways to make you talk.
That's 7 of 9.
You know what I
over here.
think?
You don't look like her.
You know what I think? I think I need to get one of those jackets.
I was gonna say, you guys match today.
You want to swap?
Wait, I need some shoes like that.
Yeah, right?
No, you haven't seen the ultimate.
Go.
Oh, yeah, now we're talking.
All right.
Got the
Okay,
whole ensemble
I'll see you
together.
one more.
Oh, you got a shirt too.
The turtleneck. Or
No, the shirt.
Oh, you got a belt too. Oh, you know all about it then.
You're recording this, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I love it.
On three different cameras.
Do we have an orange obsession?
You're okay with being recorded for the record, right?
I'm okay with any of this.
It's just for a YouTube channel.
I'm just not good on the spot, you know?
If you say anything that you're uncomfortable with, we'll always, you
I
know,
don't think I've said anything too embarrassing.
yeah, we'll always be willing to not
Right,
publish
yeah.
that. Yeah. There's
What
still
kind of
time. There's
libation
still
are we
time.
providing here?
What's that?
What kind of libation are we providing?
Right?
Right. Hot dogs, I think.
No, this is nice. I'm enjoying having a conversation. You know, it's
That's
kind
part of the
good-
fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's really lost in this generation.
The thing about debates is like, you put your guard up, and at the end of it, both sides walk away feeling like they won and more confident in what they believed in than before, because all they did was re-examine all of the reasons they had for believing in the first place, and not explore any of the doubts, because you can't do that when you're trying to win an argument, you know?
Well, there are people that are really good at arguing. You know, I have a brother who's an attorney, and I've never won an argument from him.
It's emotionally satisfying.
Republican, and he's trying to cool it. So it's very hard to have a real tangible discussion.
Yeah, and the people that know how to argue the best don't necessarily have good arguments.
Well, but they know how to cut the other person off. They know that there's I think, a skill to debate.
Yeah.
And they've learned that skill.
Yeah, it's a skill.
You know, and I think it's like a chess game. They think two or three turns ahead, and then they focus in on one belief, and in their mind they've already justified that belief, and then they get there.
Well, you want to be our first?
Sure.
And I probably have you park off the sidewalk, but
What, do you want to park my geese somewhere?
Oh, this was just foreplay.
You want to give it a shot?
Sure.
All right.
So we'll have you sit in this chair.
I'm going to take my helmet off and pretend like I'm going to stay for 5 minutes.
That would be great.
It doesn't have to be that long.
3 minutes?
However long you like.
Timer?
Some people use a timer.
Do I get a plug for my business in here?
Sure.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Get some more cameras going.
Oh, what a nice day.
It's awesome. Let's see. I'm just going to test this real fast. Yeah. This will work.
Still be going. That should still be going. 4K30. Forward. This one might as well go to this. Okay. So I sit over here?
Yeah.
Just like this.
Yeah, see, this isn't charging.
Want to use my
power
bank?
Lost like 50% of its power.
Want to use my power bank?
Yeah, if you have one. Yes. That's weird. Now it's back to 100. Never mind.
Okay.
I think it'll work.
Do you have one that's going up my nose to get my nose hairs?
Yeah, I think we can manage.
So what compelled you to go with this many cameras?
Well, this is two
usually
people.
Isn't like this. Like,
each of us has half of these.
yeah, we're kind of combining gear today.
I'm going to post this and say, if this doesn't intimidate the
We're doubling down.
who is being interviewed, then nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're doubling down
Yeah.
on the cameras.
Just
today.
pretend like if one of us were out here instead.
Kidding. Oh, I see. That's us.
So yeah, whenever you're ready, you can
Oh,
sit
you want me in
there.
that chair? You should write victim here.
Yeah. You belong here.
Another mistake I made yesterday is when I asked for the name, I need to make it clear that it should only be the first name.
Yes. Yeah, that's
No last names will be used to protect the
unless
guilty.
they want to, if they need to promote something.
Yeah, if you want to promote something, you can.
I'll leave it just be.
Yeah, but I asked him his name, and he said his first and last name. I'm like, oops. I wasn't supposed to do that.
Are you rolling on everything?
Everything, I think.
Okay.
Well, not everything, but all the main ones anyway. Keep some in reserve. And I'm going to run the hat cam too.
You're on a beautiful day questioning on my values.
So, you're okay with being recorded for this interview today?
I believe so.
If you change your mind afterwards, we can always, not publish it if you feel uncomfortable. So
The only thing you're missing are some high intensity Klug lights.
Yeah. We'll have to do a night version.
Where were you on the night of the 14th? Or the 6th, whatever you want to call it.
they have ways of making you talk. So, what is your first name?
My name is John.
John. And is that with an H or without an H?
With an H.
Okay. J-O. Again, the marker that doesn't work. That's 2 days in a row.
That purple one works really well.
Okay, we'll try that. We gotta get rid of the dead markers.
Yeah.
John. So, having a good day today?
I am indeed.
What are you up to? You're just out
a ride in the park.
Yeah? Where's your destination?
I guess I went out to the ocean, had
Ooh.
lunch, went down to Sharon Meadows, Sharon
Meadow, yeah.
Is it Sharon Flyground?
Yeah.
And poked around there, and then
Carousel.
just having fun.
Such a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to warm up over the next week, towards the 4th, so that's nice. And the winds will die down too.
Yeah, it was a little cool out the ocean.
So, what we're doing here today, as he's explained to you, is just exploring the quality of your reasoning behind a claim that you make about the world that we share, something that you think is true about the world that we share, in the form of a truth claim, and it's the sort of thing that if you found out that it wasn't true, then moving forward in life it would affect how you lived your life, the things you do, and sort of things like that, things that you live by, in other words. For instance, if you believed in feng shui, you might arrange your furniture a certain way, or if you believed in incense, you might cleanse a space before moving into it, or something like that. Just any kind of a claim. Some people have beliefs in, that their dead relatives come to visit, after they pass, and just whatever. And if you can't think of a claim, we have a can of words here that you can take a look, see what's in there. You don't have to take the first word, but if you have a claim that's important to you. I'm
just going to say a statement. How can you know yourself, or how can you know?
It shouldn't be a question. It should be in the form of a claim of truth.
A claim of truth.
This is true about the world.
Gosh, that means I'm an absolute thinker, and I'm not.
Well, is there anything that you think is true about the world? We could explore that.
People are selfish?
People are selfish.
I mean, that would be a claim, I guess.
That would absolutely be a claim about the world that we share, I think. Is that something you would want to explore, whether you think that's true or not?
I think the exception is somebody who's altruistic.
Okay, people are selfish. Now, first I'm supposed to get you to define the terms involved to make sure we're on the same page. Now, when you say people, are you talking all people, or, you said there were exceptions. How much? I
would say a generalization is all we can come up with here, because there are exceptions to everybody.
There's exceptions to every rule? Is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of people want to be good, but I don't know if we're taught how to be good.
So the claim is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what I hear you saying here is that we're fundamentally selfish. Is that what you're saying?
I think that human nature is selfish.
Human nature is selfish.
Yeah, that would be a better way of saying it.
Okay, let's change that then.
You make me think about absolutes, and I'm not good, and I'm going to be playing the devil's advocate and defending my position, I think, a little bit.
Doesn't have to be absolute.
There's a range?
Think of it as a confidence.
Yes.
He'll ask about that.
How confident are you in this belief that it's generally true of humans that they have a selfish nature, or an aspect of their nature that's selfish?
In it.
100%. Okay. So that sounds like a definite claim of truth about the world. How did you first come to this conclusion?
Well,
is there an event or something that made you realize that maybe someone that you deeply trusted couldn't be, or I don't know? You tell me.
Well, think about the relationships you're in with anybody. And relationships are based on what you get from that person. And most people want to be in a relationship with somebody that betters their standing, whether financially or emotionally or, just socially. And that could be said about relationships, it can be said about business partnerships, and almost anything. So you start with that premise of, we all want something more for ourselves. And it's not a bad thing to be selfish. I mean, it's looking out for number one. The question is, to what extent you take it and what you're willing to do for it.
Do you believe that there are any relationships that don't expect, where the person doing something for someone else doesn't expect anything in return ever? Like to have it kept track of and
I am going to argue the point just because I have to take a side.
Right, of course.
It doesn't mean that there aren't good people out there. I mean, I would argue that there are many, many, many good people. But I think, generally human nature is self-motivated from the days when we were foraging in the forests and we wanted more territory for our family or protection. So there are people that are really good that want to do for others. I think the best feeling in my life is when I do for others. It doesn't mean that I'm not selfish.
And I'm supposed to explore the methods that you use to come to this conclusion. What sort of how did you? I asked you what maybe spurred it, but what sort of
I don't know. Looking at history,
what factors were at play in that determination? Was it like a personal experience, or a number of personal experiences?
Personal experience. Yeah. I think it's part of our self-preservation. I think it comes from really when it's primal that if we don't look out for ourselves, nobody else will. The only people that really want more for us than us are our parents.
True. I think that's true.
But that comes from selfish preservation of their lineage.
Of course.
And so, I would say that it's a basic built-in instinct for us to be looking out for number one.
So would that mean that would you say that there's no such thing as pure altruism? Like pure, like the kind where you wouldn't even...
Well, I'd ask where altruism comes from.
Let me say it like the kind of thing where you would do something and not tell anyone that you did it.
I kind of like that too. I think there are people out there that do that.
You think there are?
Oh yeah.
How?
I mean, the people that donate anonymously to causes, the people that will help somebody without wanting recognition for what they're doing.
But do you think that that's really altruism, or are they just doing it so that they think, because it feels good and because they get to think of themselves as a better person, or are they doing it because of the good that it creates?
Well, I think that,
is it impossible to separate?
Both those things are true. As I say, I think we're a dichotomy just because we want to be good and we want to be selfish at the same time. And it's hard to say that, one doesn't come without the other.
So it sounds like you're saying the selfishness is mostly due to our sort of evolutionary history.
Yeah.
It's kind of a deal. Where would you say that the opposite comes from, the altruism? Do you think that also comes from evolution, or do we have a better nature?
It comes from upbringing.
Because I hear a lot of people make the claim that, if survival of the fittest is true, then we should not be altruistic. You know what I mean? That we should take whatever we can get in this life.
A truly conscientious environmentalist would kill themselves.
That's a fine point to make.
So the question really begs, at what level do you do something? There's not enough resources in the world to support everybody. Do you take that stand and say, well, I'm going to be one less person in this world? Or do you try and help the person next to you figure out how to make their lives better?
Interesting. So you say you have a 100% confidence in this claim. Do you think that...
Now, when I say 100% confidence, I'm not going to say that there aren't people that
we can revise this if you like.
No, I still believe we're all very, very selfish. Does my reasoning match my confidence?
Yes, that's what we're trying to get at here, is whether your confidence level of 100% is matched by the methods that you use to reason your way there. if you can walk me down the same path, and I can also get to 100% confidence.
The methods I use for reasoning would be life experience.
Life experience.
The way I've been treated, which are the only personal way of understanding that. Historically, watching and reading, I think that there's a lot to be learned from what's happened in the past.
So we would call it experiences of others, perhaps?
I think experience of others is a very good, I think, what is the old line that if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it? So I like to study history.
So your experiences and the experiences that you've been made aware of that other people have had. Anything else?
I think those are pretty strong. I don't know what else there is.
If you didn't have access to that as a way to determine the truth of this claim, can you think of any other methods that could be used, like a test or something like that?
Well, there's probably some type of scientific test that could be set up, but I don't know how you'd set it up. It would be one of those psychological tests that you'd have to figure out. I like the idea what you're asking, what makes somebody want to be altruistic, though. And I think you've brought another point, is that I believe there's a deep-seated need for us to do good. But I don't know how it comes out, because it seems like mostly manifested are the deep-seated needs to take care of oneself. And I guess it's, the hierarchy of needs is a big, there's that pyramid, and I forget what's on the bottom and the top of it. Mm-hmm. But, where you're going to get your next meal, where you're going to be sheltered, are like major importance. Thinking about altruism would be like at the top of the pinnacle. When you have all the things lined up and everything is taken care of, then you can think about, how do I help others get there?
I see. So it's like it sounds like you're saying it's almost like a luxury that you have if you've taken care of your own needs, or is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, in a sense, God, my mind is jumbling with different concepts.
Oh,
here.
Take your time. We have all the time in the world.
I look at the religious leaders who are there to help others, and then I look at the religious leaders that are there to self-fulfill. And I look at the people who are donors for charitable causes, and the ones that are, quiet, that just give because they feel like it's important to give back to the community. The reason for being altruistic is really elusive. I wish we knew more.
Do you think that if you're limited to personal experiences and other people's personal experiences, that's sufficient kind of method to arrive at a 100% conclusion, or could people's experiences lead them to an incorrect conclusion?
By all means.
Or lead you to an incorrect conclusion based on...
I hope you can prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm
what would it take
I'm saying a statement that...
Can you think of anything that would reduce you down from 100 down to 99?
Yeah, tell me the name, or give me a situation where somebody's actually put other people's needs before their own. And this is what we call heroes.
It seems like a difficult thing to test, because you're always going to know, at least you will know that you did it, and so the fact that you know you did it is going to benefit your own internal self.
So are you supporting my argument that all people are selfish?
I just don't see how you can remove completely any consideration of benefit to the self in doing good in the world.
Right?
Because that's one way to put it. What do you think? Is that true?
I said the statement.
You said it, so I think you probably think it's true. Oh, look at the bicycles.
So anyway, I think there are good people out there. Don't get me wrong. I think there are a lot of really good people.
But when you say good,
I think it'd be wonderful to interview those good people and find out what motivated them, and find somebody who is that hero, who's not affected with the fact that they're the hero, but ask them, why did they do that? Why did they step up to the plate and do something that gives them no benefit and great risk?
I'm thinking about it now, and it seems to me that if you did it for a period of time, then you could gradually increase your
it's a lifestyle then.
you could gradually increase your belief that you're your internal belief that you're a good person. But at a certain point, wouldn't it just be like piling more on top of a giant pile? Like, wouldn't at that point it become altruism because you already know that you're a good person from literally decades of doing exactly the same thing?
Well, you have to define what a
and
good
you
person
haven't,
is.
Okay, well, how would you define a good person?
I haven't really gone
What
there.
is good?
What is good?
What is good?
What is good?
Can you give a definition for good in the world when talking about others?
Well, I think it really kind of fits
good
in with all this. It kind of meshes. The same concept, good, is thinking about other people.
Thinking about other people.
And not being motivated by self.
Others.
I've been watching all these wonderful movies and documentaries about World War II and the history of Nazism and all that stuff. And it makes you ask yourself, what would it take for you to fall in line with that? And when do you start taking a stand, even though it could cost you your life? If you know that something's coming along that's the ultimate in evil.
I've heard some people say that if you're not willing to give your life for a belief, then you don't really believe it. If it's an important belief to you. I'm not talking about chocolate versus vanilla. I mean, like a fundamental life belief.
I have a hard time watching what's going on right now politically,
like
where half the world's divided.
Justice or freedom or something like that. Would you be willing to lay down your life for that? And what you said here about not concerned about the self and thinking about others, it spurred me to think about the idea of someone throwing themselves on a landmine to protect their friends. Like they're taking.
Well, instinctively, we do that for our children.
Yeah, but
is that selfish? Yeah, we want to protect the next generation.
But in that situation, it's more like your adopted brothers.
But so for somebody you didn't know, would you jump in front of a bullet?
I think it would depend on how well you know them. What do you think?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
I think
no one would ever do that?
Good people would do it instinctively.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know how you get there. I mean, I think doing a good deed every day is a great inspiration. If we could all do one nice thing every day without wanting recognition for that, we'd have a better society.
Based on what you said earlier, it would probably seem to have something to do with like an abnegation of the ego, like practicing maybe through meditation or something, just quieting that little chattering monkey mind that's telling you, you need this, you should do that. This is what's good for you.
Think about, for my ego, and this is purely for mine, what gives me pleasure? And and this is, I'm asking this now because I'm a retired person, and I'm thinking about what's the next step. What do I do that makes me feel good about myself? Also, what is the purpose of life? These are all really deep questions.
That is a great question.
They make you examine, the quality. And that's all I can say. It's a quality issue. And you try and figure out what makes that quality the best. I've always enjoyed helping others.
So you think that being good increases the quality of your life? Is that what you're saying?
Quality of the world.
The quality of the world, but also maybe...
Not necessarily my life, but the quality of the world.
As in, it might actually cost you in the long run, but you make the world a better place? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know how it costs you,
But your time and energy and your
time and energy, yeah, time and energy. But, I think realistically that's all we have is time and energy.
Because I've heard it said, when it comes to takers, you have to set limits because they don't have any.
I'm here for a reason. The moment I sat down and talked to you, I'm losing that time and energy. I'm producing a content that's a question, and the goal here is to make you think about your reasoning and question everything you know. And I took a statement that said that people are self-motivated and selfish, just to get onto that line of thinking of what is it that brings us to the best who we can be.
And what do you think it is? What it seems like you were saying it's mostly about, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're saying it's mostly about feeling good because it feels good.
Yeah, but
there's other things that also feel good that aren't that other
when I say it
people
feels
might.
good, that's a selfish motivation.
That's what, yeah.
So I'm being consistent in my belief.
So you're saying that even when humans are being good, they're also being selfish. So anything that you could do, whether good or bad, is selfish, is basically what I hear you saying. Is that correct?
Exactly.
I'm not sure I would completely disagree with that, because like I say, a conscious mind is going to be aware of what it can't do good without being aware that it's doing good. So
to walk on a beach is to leave the footprint.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe if you were aware that you had like that extreme short-term memory problem where you can't remember the last 30 minutes, you know, then if you continued to be good then that might mean you were a good person, because you're not doing it because you remember all the good things that you did and it made you feel like you're a better person.
Is being good something that's controlled by upbringing? I mean, there are plenty of good people out there. There are plenty of bad people. And where does the moral compass come from? Where do we get the sense of doing good and doing bad?
Where do you think?
I think the values come from your family.
So, upbringing?
I mean, I think a child that's raised by a father that abuses them learns that that's the love. And they probably are more destined to go on and abuse their child because that's what they grew up with. So until you are aware of the reasoning behind your behavior, you can't change that cycle. Or you can't question that cycle. So the question is, you know, how do you become aware of yourself?
That is a good question. I don't know.
I mean, there are three people that we are. There's a person we see ourselves as. There's a person other people see us as. And then there's the person we are. When those three come together, then you're a comfortable being.
That's great. I love that.
But how you get there, I don't know. I'm just merely struggling along.
We're all stumbling along, trying to figure it out, I think. But I think it's great that you think that much about the question, because maybe, you know, maybe that's part of what's involved in becoming a good person, is just that self-reflection.
Well, I'm trying to be a little less selfish.
That probably helps too. Just being aware of the problem is the first step, you know, I think, towards getting it in check.
Well, communications is, I think, also very important. Being able to talk to somebody with an open mind, to be able to explore, and this is where, you know, it comes back to why do you feel the way you do about anything, and ask yourself more than anything else why you believe in something. What brings you to that? And that's the true question, is, you know, what experiences in life bring us to who we are?
So when you say 100%, I mean 100% based on personal experience and the experience of others. You don't think that it seems like I remember you saying that you could use personal experience and come to a wrong conclusion from that, and yet you're still at 100%, even though you used a method that people can use to come to an incorrect conclusion. Did you mean, when you say about the 100%, are you actually referring to the life experiences, or are you more referring to the logic that you can't separate the deed from the person?
Well,
like I was talking
trying to
about.
Put a score on how they are, and it's kind of hard to score something like that because it's really part of the emotional behavior. You know, and yes, I'm willing to accept that there are good people out there that are altruistic, that aren't self-motivated, but it would be hard to say that what is the motivation. You know, it's kind of, you can't prove an argument's wrong by, where am I going with this?
If you can't prove it wrong, should you be at 100%? Is it falsifiable, is I guess what I'm asking.
Well, quantifiable is the question. Quantifiable. And yeah, I don't know, I think people are good, but how do we bring that out in them?
Well, it sounds like you were mostly pointing to upbringing. Do you think that's...
Experiences. I think when somebody else shows somebody a kindness, they can interpret that as a good thing.
Sort of
maybe they
demonstrate
carry it further and they bring it on to somebody else. I believe good deeds do go forward.
As in this sort of pay it forward idea?
Yeah, is there karma?
If you just do it, and then they'll take that as a role model, a model for how they should be in the world, maybe. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm trying to live it more than talk it.
That's always the tricky part. It's easy to talk the talk, but it's a little harder to walk the walk. Or ride the bike.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure having this chat with you.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being our first interview today. You have made the whole trip worthwhile.
Okay, well, I hope you find more victims to interrogate.
Oh, I'm sure we will, but definitely the whole point of him coming out here to San Francisco was to train me to do this, and so...
So where are you from?
I'm based out of Olympia, Washington.
Okay. You have to come to San Francisco to get some good ideas.
Well, this is one of my last stops on a
multi-state tour,
year-long tour around the country.
Wow.
So I'm headed back up.
So I'm
Do
like...
you have a YouTube channel that this goes on?
Yes, he does. It's called Sound Epistemology.
Okay.
With that QR code, you can scan it.
Sound Epistemology.
And I just...
Puget Sound?
Okay.
Like the Puget Sound, but also sound as in reliable. Like sound construction. Or a sound bridge.
And what's your purpose in all this? Just to make people think?
Yes. Well, to have civil conversations and to get them to think about things that maybe they haven't thought about before. Because a lot of people, they'll just have a confidence level without exploring the reasoning. They'll just have an intuitional level confidence or just a snap, judgment on the matter.
Raise the level of critical thinking in different communities and help others in their own communities do it.
And also to demonstrate a different way besides debating with people. If you just ask questions and
well, it's sort of a debate as well. I mean, because you're really sort of going back and forth of getting to the bottom of why somebody thinks the way they do.
More a challenge than a debate, I think. Debate, I think, is more trying to get people to change their mind. We're not trying to get you to change your mind, but only if you think that you should change your mind after reviewing your reasoning.
Okay.
And because, here's the thing, if I think it's stupid, it doesn't matter to you because you can just say, well, you're stupid,
Well, I mean, I don't ever say that about anybody.
No, but
everybody brings something to the table.
Your mind can say that. You can say, well, I don't have to listen to this guy. What does he know?
I don't know.
Well, I'm not saying you in particular, but people in general. So, so what really matters is whether your own internal reasoning is up to your own
See, I like people who make me think.
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
But that's selfish. At that, I'm going to leave you.
I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you so much, John.
A pleasure. What was your name?
My name is Cosmo, and
Cosmo.
this is David.
David?
Great to meet you, John.
Likewise.
Thank you so much
Can I give you
again.
my card and send me a letter?
Sure.
Yes, did you want to plug your business?
No, I don't need to plug my business.
Okay.
My orange does that for me.
Yeah. Well, that's kind
Found
of
each other.
the same idea I have.
Great.
We're kindred spirits.
I like the NASA, though. I don't have the NASA.
Yeah, well, NASA orange.
There's me.
Perfect.
Cosmo.
It's a cool card.
I'm gonna...
Thanks. I do art installations for people.
Okay.
So you can certainly try.
Cool.
I'm an artist myself. I mean, I make leather.
What
goods.
medium?
Okay, cool.
Oh, you make that.
Leather. I studied jewelry design,
Cool.
applied art design.
Yeah, you're working with your hands. then.
Woodworking. I'm a carpenter also.
Yeah,
So
carpentry.
a lot of different working with your hand skill sets.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like,
Thanks. Yeah.
like Nick Offerman. You ever heard of Nick Offerman?
No.
He's a comedian, but he's also a woodworker. And he talks about it during some of his stand-ups. It's like, everyone should have a hobby, except I don't call it a hobby, I call it a discipline. And his discipline is woodworking, and he makes chairs and things, and they're really beautiful.
Did you make your phone bill?
Oh, yeah. This is
neat.
part of what I do.
I like that.
Oh yeah,
Thanks.
you make your
It's a little
own
nerdy.
accessories.
But it's really functional.
Practical.
Oh yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's a holster.
Yeah.
But I think my friends think I'm really nerdy. Maybe it's the generation. You know,
They're probably nerds at
I
something
made this too.
Yeah, I was
So that's,
going to compliment on that next.
Part of. I took a class from a lady who used to work for Hermes.
Hermes?
Hermes. Have you heard of Hermes? They're a leather company out of France.
Oh, okay.
Probably one of the top manufacturers for bags.
Okay.
You know, you talk about the Birkin bag.
Yeah.
The bags that are very valuable.
Yeah.
That's Hermes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So she used to make those things, and she started teaching classes years ago on Clement Street. So I took classes and learned how to do that right before COVID.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for 5 years. I love it. It's fun. It's all hand stitched. I mean,
You too.
And instant gratification.
How do you know what's that?
So the belt. Well, it's not instant. It takes hours.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, you can see the product when you're done. You don't have to, like,
Well, it's fun to have a tangible product of anything. I mean, you were talking about.
You're good. If you want to do an interview, we can do one next. I can kind of explain a little bit more.
We were just curious. We knew we were getting in the back of your videos, so we were like,
I
don't know if it's like
if
messing
you're
you
okay
guys
with being
up.
on YouTube, then
Yeah, it's chill.
Is this YouTube channel?
yeah, you can scan that. Take it to my
that's
channel.
awesome.
Okay, I will try.
How do you know it's true? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because maybe
I didn't know we're not in a test tube somewhere. People are stimulating us.
Yeah.
We're not really existing.
You can't. Really
Well,
know.
I think the experience would be the same either way.
It doesn't really matter.
It's irrelevant to me.
Doesn't matter.
I probably wouldn't change the way I do things if I knew that was the case.
I just had to take a class on that.
But yeah, we're doing more if you're interested in doing one.
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
I just did one, and so that means it's his turn, and he is extremely well experienced,
one?
and I am not at all experienced, so you'd be getting
Okay.
the good interviewing.
You're
not
welcome
the-
to take more.
No, you can do one.
Okay.
You can get some practice.
I gotta get my
Sit on
gear.
that.
Sure.
I gotta sort out some gear issues over here.
Okay. I'll reset these.
Okay.
I'll say it.
How's your day going?
It's good. I'm with an international school. And
It's what? What school?
an international school.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
showing them around San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Getting them their U.S. experience.
Awesome. That's a cool gig.
It is. It's awesome.
I should reply to Nate's. Navigate with Nate. He's like,
Yeah.
how many is too many cameras?
Apparently 20 is the number.
Cameras
Wait.
or camera angles?
Nate, we found an answer to your question today. It's 21.
I could put in quotes.
Because I had 10. How many did you have?
I have 5 angles, 4 cameras.
Okay, so we had 14 cameras today. That was probably too many.
Well, what I was going to say is, quote, so what made you stop and talk to us? Oh, all your cameras.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That also the backpack and the outfit.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have an icebreaker, you know?
Sign, yeah.
A sign helps, of course, but that's great.